Coming up on This Week in Radio Tech, we're talking to David Bialik and Fred Willard about the SBE Ennes Workshop. It's going to be concurrent with NAB, and it's a great way to boost your knowledge and your career. Check that out. And also, the National Religious Broadcasters have been meeting in Nashville, Tennessee. I got to go over there and meet up with a few engineers and programming people and had a great time meeting up with them. So we're going to bring you both of those topics, plus a good tip of the week at the end. It's all coming up next on TWiRT.
This Week in Radio Tech is brought to you by Broadcasters General Store with outstanding service, savings, and support. Online at bgs.cc. By Broadcast Bionics with the Bionic Studio, including talk show control, social media, and visual radio. Broadcast Bionics brings exceptional audience engagement to radio and TV. By Air, featuring Playout One radio automation software, comprehensive streaming solutions, website content management, and social media tools for maximum listener engagement on the web at AIIR.com. By Angry Audio. Audio problems disappear when you get angry at angryaudio.com. And by Max Connect Wireless, prioritized high-speed internet service designed for transmitter sites and remote broadcasts.
Hey, welcome into This Week in Radio Tech. I'm Kirk Harnack, your host, here in the Nashville studio. Today, it's the Max Connect studio. Thanks a lot to Max Connect for being one of our amazing sponsors on This Week in Radio Tech. Well, speaking of amazing, we're going to be talking about a real career and educational opportunity on this week's show. As well, we're also going to make a quick trip out to the NRB, the National Religious Broadcasters Convention that's going on here in Nashville, Tennessee this week, and we'll check out a few highlights from there. But for right now, let's bring in a couple of guests, as we're going to be talking about the SBE Ennes Workshop that's going on at NAB 2026. Well, that's a mouthful. So it's coming up in April. My guests, David Bialik and Fred Willard, are both here. And gentlemen, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Kirk.
Let's see. Let's start with Fred, because David is kind of a detail guy. So let's start with Fred. Fred, you tell us what we are looking forward to at the SBE Ennes Workshop. What's it about? Why should I care?
Well, the buzzwords for NAB 2026 are artificial intelligence, streaming, sports, the creator economy, and cloud virtualization. Pretty much we're going to be interweaving those subjects in all of our sessions.
Gotcha. And when you say sessions, this is going on for a couple of days at NAB?
2 full days, the last 2 days of the convention, which is a change, by the way. So take note of that.
Yeah, normally I get to NAB early for 2 things: the Public Radio Engineering Conference, followed immediately by the Ennes Workshop. But this year it has changed in the timing. Can you help us understand why the change?
WWE wrestling.
What? Wrestling.
Wrestling. Yes.
Okay. You mean you couldn't combine Ennes Workshop and wrestling into one big event?
If there were enough hotel rooms, we probably would have.
Okay. I got it. Well, David, you were about to speak. Tell me your perspective on this change and what we might look forward to.
Well, number one, more people come to see the exhibits, obviously. So now we're going to be during the exhibits. We were before the exhibits before, so a lot of people missed out. So this might work out better. I'm very hopeful.
Good. And the sessions, we're going to detail the sessions in just a few minutes. So you, my fellow engineers who are watching or listening, you can make some decisions as to whether, hey, yeah, that sounds like, my career needs that. I need that. I need to learn about that. So we're looking at what the Tuesday and Wednesday is that the days that it's going on?
All day, 9 to 5.
And what's the location?
North Hall. Right in the middle of the convention center. So if you're going to West or Central, it's exactly in the middle, right upstairs from where the SBE booth will be again this year. Most of the broadcasting vendors will be in the North Hall, from my understanding, this year.
Okay.
And let me interject. SBE stands for Society of Broadcast Engineers, in case people don't know.
Thank you. And we do get new viewers all the time, so thank you for pointing that out. All right, we've got David Bialik and Fred Willard with us. But we're going to talk about the upcoming sessions here in just a minute after we hear this from AIIR, air.com. And here's Ricky Lee. Hey, it's Kirk Harnack, and I'm here with Ricky Lee, the CEO of Air. Ricky, you guys make a fantastic automation system, but streaming is a really big deal. Tell me about streaming with Air.
It really is. We've got a beautiful streaming platform with an incredible dashboard with fantastic analytics. And you can buy it for just $20 a month. All you can eat. No limits on bandwidth or bit rates. And you can also record shows as well. So if you like to deliver on-demand content for $20 a month, you can stream and deliver that on-demand content to an RSS feed that can feed your radio player, your mobile apps, or a podcast that people can download and enjoy.
Now, $20 a month, that must be for just some slow MP3, right?
No, MP3, AAC, and we also now support HLS, which is big in the industry right now.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. How do I start to explore or find out more about streaming through Air?
You go to air.com, AIIR.com/streaming, and from there, with a credit card, you can sign up and get started.
Hey, thanks so much to Air, Ricky Lee, and the whole group there, Dave Brierley-Jones and others, all the support people at air.com for sponsoring This Week in Radio Tech. Hey, it's Kirk Harnack at This Week in Radio Tech in the Max Connect studio, and joining me today to talk about this SBE Ennes Workshop we're back with David Bialik and Fred Willard, and so there's two tracks going on. We're going to focus on one of those tracks in our conversation, but let's at least inform our fellow engineers what the other track has to do with RF 101. Who wants to tell us just a little bit about that track?
Jeff Welton is putting that together as he has in the past, and anybody that knows Jeff, he goes well beyond his own products, and he organizes a really educational program. And I'm kind of angry because if I wasn't doing this session, I'd want to attend that as well. I've often said that instead of putting these parallel, we should put them in series, just because there's so much information to learn. As a matter of fact, I helped Jeff get a couple speakers.
Yeah, and if you put them in series, I understand that the resistance would be additive the whole way. Yeah. But all right, so there's RF 101, and for people who sign up for the Ennes Workshop at SBE, you have to decide, what do I want to attend? Is there any jumping from one class to another, or do you need to stick with your? Oh, you can?
Yeah,
okay.
You can jump between the two. Though I couldn't imagine why anyone wouldn't want to stay in our sessions the whole way through, because we're doing emerging technologies. Yeah. And we're talking about audio, video. We're talking about ATSC3, even though that's RF, but there's plenty of audio and video in there as well. We're
even carrying HD radio.
Yes. So, and
go ahead.
Whatever we are listing here, an engineer going to their general manager or to their planning board or whatever should know at least something. We're not out to give you a full degree in every topic, but we're getting it there to familiarize you.
So
because remember, an engineer does not have to know everything, but we need to know where to get the answer.
Where to get it.
Or who to get it from.
From whom to get it, exactly. One of the things that I've noticed, and then after I mention this, we'll look over these sessions individually, is that whether you are new to the industry, or at least to this facet of the industry. And I'm talking about the emerging technologies. Some things are already in place. Other things are just now coming out, and things that engineers need to be aware of. And assure, you're ahead of the game in your career if you can already address some of these things, in your management meetings and things like that, or your corporate planning. But one of the things that I've noticed is that the sessions at SBE Ennes Workshops tend to get everybody on the same page. So you can be, I wouldn't say a novice, but you can be, a beginning to intermediate engineer and really pick up on this quickly. But also, if you're an advanced level of engineer, if you already have a good knowledge of this, you're going to learn something anyway. You're going to hear something or see something that you really hadn't heard before. Fred, am I exaggerating that, or would you find that to be true?
I would agree with that. These are some of the foremost experts in their field. The presentations themselves will be, as you said, at a mid-level. Most of the people that will be attending this, are rather hungry and interested in where the industry is going. But at the end of every block of 2 or 3 sessions, we have a roundtable, or like it's an optional break if you need to go answer your phone. But we have a panel of experts, and the audience can pose their own questions from their own facilities, and we'll have 3 or 4 people that can give great answers to the questions.
And we always stress, especially when inviting the presenters, that this is a discussion of technology and technique. We're not doing sales presentations, and everybody honors that. And so instead of hearing, "Oh, his thing is better than mine," or whatever, you're going to hear what the technology can do, what they're hoping their technology will do, and also how you can accomplish the goals that you need to know. It's very insightful that we try to answer all the questions without being biased at all.
I hear you. Yeah. Yep. Tell you what, I've got a list of the sessions here, and I want to ask you about a few of them. Let's look at the ones for day 1. So this would be on Tuesday. What day? What day is that? Is that the 21st? Tuesday, the 21st of April. Anybody got a calendar?
20th and 21st.
20th. So it's the 20th. Okay, Tuesday the 20th. So. The very first session after the welcome and introduction is a session called Dynamic Media Facilities. And, come to think of it, as I've visited broadcasters, I'm seeing more facilities, including a new one that I built a year ago on the island of Maui in Hawaii, dynamic. In other words, they're not just for radio. They're for other purposes, too. So who wants to take a crack and just tell me 2 or 3 sentences about that session? What's it about?
Well, you need to right size the technology to your particular business model, and every business model is different. We talked about 2110 and media over IP for many years, and that comes into play quite a bit. But not everybody's doing just video. Not everybody's doing just audio, as you said. Not everybody's doing broadcasts. Not everybody's doing streaming. Some combination thereof, and that changes. And the technologies will change, and you may need to change the workflow of your facility over time. And the second session is convergence. That's kind of related too.
I recently built a radio studio, and the first comment was, "Look, we know you're placing the microphones here, but think everything has to have a camera shot." And that's something that never was said to me before this year, and now it seems to be the running thing. Everything it doesn't have to always sound. It has to sound good, but it also has to look good.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Good.
Though I picture Billy Crystal saying "marvelous."
Marvelous. Come to think of it, it just occurred to me that this really gelled. I didn't think about it at the time when I built some studios on Maui for a radio group there. We don't have any control room that's a conventional disc jockey sits in there, plays records, and talks. We have 2 studios for 8 radio stations, and they are a production room and a talk studio, because we do some talk programming, but we none of our stations have play music and have somebody sit there to intro and extra each song and tell you what's for sale at the farmer's market. Wow! And so I just realized that's really a dynamic media facility. Plus, we have a podcast room too that is built for cameras. Wow. So
And the stations and broadcasters that are doing well are finding that as they go more local, their ratings are going up.
So after the break later in the morning on Tuesday, the loudness and dialogue intelligibility. That doesn't sound like a radio topic.
Why wouldn't it be a radio topic, Kirk? You think about it. Loudness control is extremely important, especially let's say you're streaming your radio station and your ads are being inserted by a different service. You want to make sure that your loudness is set at the right level. That way, you don't want your commercials to come in 3 or 6 dB louder, do you? No.
And you may not want to do it in the audio realm. You might want it to happen in the streaming realm, because you may be doing all streaming or coming from the cloud, for instance. You don't want to go back down to audio and go back re-encode.
And this is really something that I've been working on for years, the loudness and dialogue intelligibility, because this is basically the Audio Engineering Society's broadcast and online deliveries standards and technical reports that we've been working on, which I've talked with you many times about. And we have the people here talking about it again, but we're also, we just released TD 109 about dialogue intelligibility, because you have to learn how to set your audio to the target now, the anchor audio. And
video engineers take note. Nothing will affect the amount of viewers or listeners you have more than intelligible quality audio that doesn't change level.
That's a great point.
Much more so than any resolution or lighting.
So,
and look at the people that are on it. You have Robert Blight, formerly of Fraunhofer, Scott Norcross of Dolby, Scott Kramer, formerly of Netflix. I mean, and there's going to be others on that panel. And I can't say enough about how important that is. And if you notice, that's one of the longest sessions of the emerging technology session. Gee, I keep saying emergency. I'm sorry.
Well,
but it is an emergency to know this stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's an area that's neglected, and really, from a business standpoint, it's not a place to neglect.
Yeah, exactly right. And David, when you alluded to, keep people from tuning out, because bad audio will make people go, huh? What? It makes you feel as a viewer useless. Like, this isn't for me if you can't truly understand it. And wow, man, I'll tell you, it seems like so many big games, like the Superb Owl that we just had, people in audio forums complain about the audio. And I didn't.
Or they don't know why, but they just tune out.
Yeah, exactly.
And I had a really nice experience the other day. Someone was video recording in our radio studios here. I had never met the person before, and he's setting up and he's talking to his assistant that's running the audio, and he goes, "Hey, come on, set that right. You want to get that at a -17." And for the video, we want -24. And I said, "Oh, you read the paper?" He goes, he pulls out a copy, and I said, "That's great. I helped write that paper." And it really made me feel good that all that work we did during COVID is making a difference now.
You mentioned experts a moment ago, and the next expert is a fellow named Dave Colasar. Never have I met an engineer who is so thoughtful and brilliant, and he's aware of his rear view mirrors, but he's always looking out the windshield in front of him. You know what I mean? The guy's very forward thinking. What's Dave talking about?
And he's local. He's the RF engineer of the highest billing radio station in the nation, by the way.
Oh my God.
A lot has happened in the technical end of HD radio the last year or two. As you know, you're allowed. I'm a video guy, but I know that the sidebands can vary in power. And we have noticed in some of the stations in my group where we have increased the power just by 6 dB, that we've almost replicated the analog pattern. So it is a big deal. He's done some experiments with AM digital, whether you're a fan of that or not. He'll probably talk about it, and what you have to do to a analog station to make it do well with digital, like widening the bandwidth and keeping your EVMs in check.
It seems. I'm sorry. Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
HD radio has become more and more important because it's in the cars, and stations are really selling it. I mean, it's nice that an HD2 or 3 is bringing in revenue now to the stations. So, and once revenue starts coming in, it's more important.
Indeed, and oftentimes, the HD2 or 3 exists to feed a translator, because that's the legal framework by which you can feed a translator. And I know we're doing that in a couple of markets ourselves, even a small, medium broadcaster like us. So yes, the technology is important, and of course, we hope more people are listening on the HD side. In the afternoon, we're going to jump into something that I kind of thought was passé, but maybe it's not. Telecom circuits and links for broadcast and media facilities. What does that encompass? We're not talking about T1 circuits anymore.
Or ISDNs.
Or ISDNs. That's right.
You can define and build your own network with its own redundancy. This gentleman gave a session here locally, and I was very impressed. Dan Merwin.
Oh yeah, I know Dan. Sure.
This is what he's doing full time now. Right sizing networks to serve a business and get backups and fallbacks and abilities to stay on the air when a circuit fails, or circuits that can rebuild themselves. And we now have the ability, to build these ourselves. So I thought it was a great subject.
Dan has become quite the expert at this. I know he's given talks to several SBE chapters, including the one here in Nashville. But I see he's one of the speakers during this. So on that first afternoon, then
and
we
Mike
have.
Chase.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And Mike Chase.
And Mike Chase. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. I remember Michael. Sure. Okay. So the next thing about AI trends and programmatic ad insertion. Now, as an engineer, what do I need to know about this? Is this important?
You need to work with your traffic or ad department. Programmatic is very important, especially in streaming, but also in radio, and I'm assuming in television as well, where metadata is calling for your ads, and also that you are doing targeted ads. Everything is programmatic now. It's run by computers. And
there's some AI in there too.
Yeah. This is where the industry has gone, and the engineers have to catch up, because it needs to be known. I know when I was working at CBS for 11 years, I was in the programmatic office every day saying, okay, what are we doing here and here and here? And I had to find out, and we were always making metadata changes and so forth, because remember, metadata is 100% extensible. You can create as many fields as you want to call for whatever type of ad you want.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, moving on, because we want to finish up with this section. The astonishing growth of NDI. Now, those of us in radio may not know much about NDI.
Well, if you have a TriCaster, that's what you're using.
Yeah.
Most radio stations are using.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've sat in many of the presentations Yervant has given, and it's really amazing how much of that their boxes are doing. And a radio station has to know video, because the radio station might not be a television station, but for sure that they're producing stuff for YouTube or any of the other platforms in social media, and you have to be able to produce video.
Where a lot of us are surprised that NDI has taken hold as it has. we expected everything to be 2110 10 years ago, and we've had plenty of sessions on theory. Our sessions now are kind of more along the lines of, they're a little more practical, and how do you get NDI in 2110 environments to talk to each other? So we're going to cover that.
Now, if you need to know standards, well, know that there are various flavors of HDR, high dynamic range, for television, but hey, we radio engineers like to enjoy good-looking television as well. This is something that people need to know about, yeah?
Yeah, sports has been really pushing this.
Oh, yeah.
If you get full conference, SBE is doing a session of BEIT on sports with Joe Freechin. He's one of the sessions that we're putting together. But HDR is starting to play a big role in sports broadcasting, which, of course, leads the industry in technology. Yes, there are several flavors, but we're finally to the point where this works from glass to glass, from the camera all the way to the screen.
Okay.
There's a lot of metadata involved. And there are different varying formats. But we have John Mayat, which was probably one of the smartest guys in video out there.
He is. We've interviewed him on this show before. Yeah, John's amazing.
He's the father of digital video.
Next, not to put anything, not to blow past anything. We got to finish up. Last two sessions for day one, the myriad uses of AI in media. And oh my goodness, sometimes we use AI on this podcast. My producer, Suncast, will use it to clean up some audio. If we get some audio that's echoey or doesn't sound great, he's been using that to clean that up with excellent results. But I'm sure there's more uses than just that. Who wants to address AI in media?
Kyle Seuss is local here in DC, and he formed an organization that does translation and takes the place of people that were captioning. And the cost of doing multiple languages and is prohibitive. So AI is taking over some of those and making some of this possible. And Kyle's also going to cover what else AI could do for you.
Mm-hmm. Good. And the last topic of that day, the first day, time and PTP. They wait for no one. And boy, clocking sure is critical in today's world. In digital, everybody's got to be looking at the same metronome, right?
Pretty much, yeah. If you don't have a good heartbeat and you have multiple formats, you're going to be in trouble. So Steve Holmes has done these sessions for years now, and he's really an expert. And we have Ryan Morris from Arista, and they build the switches. They build the backbone of the PTP. I think they're one of the first to use it extensively. It was Cisco and Arista, and now Netgear has a number of switches that can handle this too.
David, in the radio side, you've been involved with making sure that systems station-wide are clocked when they're digital systems, yeah?
Yeah. I just dealt with an issue the other day where the traffic network wasn't meeting my automation system, and I was going crazy, and I realized that the clocks were off.
Yep. Well, and I've explained clocking a number of times in the past in presentations, but I never thought of it, like a metronome and an orchestra. The violins have got to be in sync with the timpani players, and they got to be in sync with the brass guys, and even the bass, the upright basses have to be in time, and that's why you have a conductor to do all that. Well, it's the same thing with a master clock in the PTP environment, right?
And it's a totally different way of thinking about it with IP versus AES or word clock or blackburst or tri-level.
And the funny thing about IP is that you're trying to get super accurate clock over a network that may be a little bit jittery, and so it's almost as if we're trying to make the conductor conduct the orchestra. The problem is there's a fog bank enveloping the orchestra, and they can't.
It's also important if you're having segments being injected from different areas, or if you're having to meet ad networks. Yeah. Everything has to be on the clock, otherwise you're going to have problems.
Yeah, good deal. So that sounds like it kind of wraps up day number one of the Ennes Workshop. We're going to be back in just a minute. I'm Kirk Harnack along with David Bialik and Fred Willard, and we'll be back here in just a minute to finish up, talk about what's coming up on day 2, so you can be well informed and decide if you want to go to this in Las Vegas. I'll be there, and a lot of your colleagues and friends, a lot of people that have been on this show on TWiRT will be there as well, either in the audience or as speakers. We'll be right back after this on TWiRT. You know, the whole business of putting phone callers on the air, on your radio station or your podcast or whatever production you're doing, whether it's a long-form interview or prize winners, that kind of thing, it's all been changing because POTS lines are just about no more at all. Just try ordering one. You'll find out. Voice over IP is where it's been and really where it's at now. And how do you get your voice over IP calls on the air and do it cost effectively? Maybe you only take calls once in a while, and you don't want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a whole phone system that's way more capable than what you need. Well, my friends at Angry Audio have the solution. Now, this looks a little bit funny. See, it's this box called the VoIP Phone Gizmo. And the VoIP Phone Gizmo, look at this. It has a USB connector on it, and it has a couple of RJ45 jacks, but these are for Studio Hub. This is analog audio in and out of this device. And what is it? Well, this device works with a particular phone. This is a Yealink T46U telephone. It's a VoIP telephone. And hey, even if your business phone system uses, let's say Grandstream phones or maybe even Cisco phones, the Yealink will very likely work with it. And maybe you just need this for your on-air calls. So what do? You get this Yealink phone, and you can buy it as a bundle. You can either get it, provide it yourself, or buy it as a bundle from Angry Audio. And you see this plastic stand in the back? You take that off. Just comes right off like that. All right. Then now this is clever. Then you take the VoIP phone gizmo from Angry Audio and you plug it on there, and look, it becomes the new stand for the phone. And then you take the USB connector, and this is what's cool about the Yealink phone. It has what's called a class compliant for audio in, audio out, a class compliant software that's running and USB port. And that means that the phone recognizes the VoIP audio gizmo as an audio input output device. Isn't that cool? Then you get you send your mix minus to the caller, and you get your caller audio out. Voila, you use the buttons on the front to select your phone line and put your caller on the air, and you are off to the races. It is brilliant, and it sounds perfectly good. One reason is because the electronics here, it has what we call galvanic isolation. Ground and power and data are completely separate from the phone's ground and power and data. And so you don't get any hums or buzzes, nothing like that. It connects to your consoles, analog inputs and outputs. And like I said, you're off to the races taking phone calls. And if you're not quite sure about how to make VoIP work, you can also get, I think for about $700, you get the Yealink phone, you get the adapter here, and you get a year's worth of VoIP phone service from Max Phone, a service of Max Connect. So the folks at Angry Audio, Mike Dosh and his crew have made that all available to you right there. Go to angryaudio.com and look for the USB phone gizmo to get audio in and out of your phone. Put them on the air. Really cool. Thanks a lot, Angry Audio, for sponsoring This Week in Radio Tech and for making this really clever device a great way for putting callers on the air. Hey, our show is also brought to you by, we were talking about Max Connect, brought to you by Max Connect, and a fairly new product that they have, and it's really quite cool. It's the RMT 416. A bunch of letters and numbers. What is the RMT 416? Well, it is a multi-tuner, and the brilliance of this thing is that you can outfit it for as little as 4 tuners or up to 16 tuners in one rack unit. You can access it from the front panel. You can see what's going on with any of the cards that are in there. You can also access it over the web, and you can look at the station statistics, how much it's been on the air, that the levels are good, and that you can tune it, over the web, and you can listen over the web. And what's cool is you can also mix AM, FM, HD, and NOAA weather radio, all determined by the cards, the tuner cards that you buy to outfit your particular RMT 416. It's a single rack unit, It's got the power supply in it, the network connection, and there are 4 slots to house the user option tuner cards. And each tuner card, each one, has 4 tuners with analog audio for each tuner on an RJ45 connector. And when you put in 4 tuner cards, of course, you get 4 times 4, you get 16 tuners in one rack unit. This is so cool because you need to, we got so many radio stations now, and engineers like you and me, we are tasked. Oh, look on the screen there. If you're watching our video, you can see the statistics produced by the RMT 416. This is so wonderful for keeping track of your radio stations. And of course, you can set up alarms to notify you when things don't go as you planned. Check it out. It is from Max Connect, MAXXKONNECT. Go to maxconnect.com and check out the RMT 416 multi-tuner. All right. I'm Kirk Harnack here on This Week in Radio Tech, and let's go right back to our show. Hey, thanks so much to Angry Audio and Max Connect for sponsoring This Week in Radio Tech. I'm Kirk Harnack in Nashville, Tennessee. We're talking to David Bialik and Fred Willard about the upcoming SBE Ennes Workshop, something that is a function of the Ennes Foundation. Maybe one of you could address real quickly about what is the Ennes Foundation and why are these workshops seemingly everywhere all year long?
It's an educational foundation trust. Has a different nonprofit designation from SBE. It originally was formed for granting scholarships, but now it's used for education, and the Ennes label basically means it's a nonprofit,
and
education only.
And we must remember that Harold Ennes wrote so many of the broadcast textbooks that we all learned how to do this. All those paperback books, Kirk can correct me if I'm wrong. I think they were all published by either Tab or Sam's back then.
Probably so. Yeah, indeed. All right. Well, and so and that's a name a lot of folks, they see the word, they're not sure. Is that Ennes? Ennes? How is that pronounced? It's Ennes. Ennes. All right. Hey, we're going to skip around a bit here with some of the sessions on the second day. Really important, and this is interesting that it's here, but it makes sense. Protect the most important asset, your people. And that seems to have to do, with personal security?
Yes. Nowadays, you really got to watch out for the angry person that might come in and attack or try to stop you from performing your work, and the safety of your staff should be crucial, because whether your ownership believes it or not, we're assets, and protecting them is extremely important. And we have Claudia House and Steve Schultes talking about that, and I think it's something that has been overlooked for a long time, and security is crucial.
And falls under the chief engineer or the director of operations sometimes, as does air conditioning, which you're also going to talk about.
Right. I don't know about you, Kirk, since you've worked in radio stations, and Fred, you work in TV stations, but I know at least once or twice a day, I'm checking thermostats, I'm checking filters. Air conditioning is so important.
15% of my time.
You have to always worry that everything is working at the optimal temperature, and also the optimal temperature for your equipment has to kind of be the optimal temperature for your staff to work to, because an angry staff is not good. And air conditioning is incredibly important. We have former SBE president and former executive director, Andy Butler, coming in to talk about it. He's also the past director of engineering from PBS. Yeah. And I've known Andy for at least 30, 35 years.
Or like 40.
He has been a wealth of knowledge, and he knows air conditioning, and he can tell and how it integrates with broadcast equipment.
And Andy knows a lot because Andy's seen a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
I always call him up and I say, I got to speak to the wizard.
So, the next session having to do with codec technology for audio and for video. And I would have thought that codec technology was kind of not exactly the standstill, but we get a new algorithm every now and then, maybe from Fraunhofer or somebody else. But according to this, and Tom Hartnett's going to be speaking from Comrex, and also, is it Jingzhou? Okay, we'll be speaking as well. Thank you. But it's evolving faster than ever. That's interesting. What do you know about that?
Well, it's really important because ever since COVID, a lot of people don't want to broadcast from their studios anymore. They're broadcasting from different locations. So codecs are more important than ever. And also to be more local and or even international, the codecs are the inexpensive way to meet the mediums. So, I have staff right now broadcasting in California, and people don't even know. You can't tell the difference between California and New York because it sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And some of the new ones carry metadata for the loudness control and machine control.
Oh, yeah.
And that's built in. We do have AV1 and VVC, which are coming along. It's 266. So years ago, we thought, well, MPEG-2, that's what it is, and we'll never get more than 2 HDs in a channel, and that didn't turn out to be the case, did it?
Wow. Yeah, you're right. And next on the hit parade here, something that's really important because they're newer technologies. Now, I know audio over IP has been around for 20 plus years now, but still, we need to learn how to troubleshoot that and determine, is this a hardware problem, a software problem, and is it a network problem? So that's a session, media IP troubleshooting, hardware and software.
Yeah, and John Davis, who originally, I think I first met him at Logitech, and then he's working at Wheatstone. The man is one of the best troubleshooters there is. And when he's doing troubleshooting, you have to pay attention because he's also teaching you how to troubleshoot.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say enough great things about John. He's led me out of so many problems in the past, some really complex, some really simple that I should have known, and he's great.
And with Steve Holmes, also a presenter there, Fred, doesn't that get us into the world of video IP troubleshooting?
Yes, and there's a lot of convergence there too.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 2110-30. It's all kind of coming together, whether we like it or not.
So then after the lunch break, we get into something that a lot of people are a little scared of or distrustful of, and yet we use it all the time. The three of us are using it right now to talk about this, and that is cloud technology for media. There's a part 1 and a part 2. Part 1 has to do with video production and television broadcast using cloud technology as part of the workflow, and then the second part of that session is radio broadcasting and streaming using cloud technology, and we're using it all the time. So what kind of things are we going to be learning here in these sessions?
Learning not to be afraid of the term cloud, because guess what? It's just a server farm somewhere else, and you're utilizing it. A lot of people are afraid of cloud. I had a general manager walk in one day saying, I don't want to have anything in the studio anymore. He goes, I just want to use the microphone, send it all to the cloud. And I said to him, we still have to connect to somewhere. He goes, no, it's just the cloud. I said, no. So people don't even, management doesn't even understand the term either.
Yeah, well, and this is making the case, is this correct for you? Maybe it's not. So we're going to look at where it makes sense, where it doesn't, use cases, business aspect.
Yeah, and so far we don't have transmitters in the cloud, and I don't know that that'll ever happen. And just thinking about using the cloud in everyday life, there's some things it can't replace. Changing baby diapers, for example, this will never happen in the cloud. This will always happen at home with the baby. I'm just making the case that it's not for every task, but some tasks, yeah. it's really good at. Let's see, and then we got a couple more sessions. Let's hit the very last one of the day, or one of the last ones, and that is from engineer to owner. I'm speaking at that. What am I going to be speaking about, gentlemen?
Well, that was something that I thought of. I said, a lot of engineers have the goal of sometimes owning the radio station because they don't know any better. So we got a hold of you. We got a hold of Bud Williamson, and hopefully some others are going to join and they're going to speak. Of course, no one could follow Kirk Harnack, but you're all going to talk about it. And I mean, Kirk, you have what now? 10 stations?
Oh, we've got 21 altogether.
21, and Bud has a smaller group and so forth. It's interesting. It's a way to finish the sessions with a goal in mind, because a lot of engineers want to be owners because we don't know any better, and and there's plenty of things you can talk about, whether that you learn from engineering to apply to ownership, or there's also the things that as an owner the engineer doesn't even think about, and you can bring up all of that, because the better understanding of both the owner's job and the engineer's job will make everybody better.
That closer relationship between engineering and station management, and maybe the engineer is part of station management if the engineer is part owner, but that closer relationship is good for both. It really helps the engineer to realize, oh, this is really important too, and this FCC renewal is next, and oh, there's some EEO compliance that we're going to have to deal with, and I can be part of that. And then of course the ownership table, the general management and other owners, they get to get the input from the engineer so that they make fewer mistakes early on, right? That the engineer has to come back and fix. Oh, you bought a new studio building and it's in a valley and the transmitter is in the next valley over. Well, guess what? We're going to have to hop that STL, because of your choice, which that's happened to me a couple times. Well, go ahead.
And I'm sure you have a new appreciation of budgeting and budgets that as an engineer you didn't have, but now as an owner you have to pay attention to, and things like that.
Absolutely. Fred, and one of the last things on the agenda, or the last thing, is how SBE certification augments your career. You want to mention that for just a minute, Fred?
Well, I've been certified for years, as many of us have. It doesn't prove that you're smarter than anybody else, but it shows any prospective employer that you had the temerity to go out and document what you know, or what you know how to know. It's great for your career. It's a credential.
I've known both of you for many years, and I've always considered you both certifiable.
I knew that was coming up. Gentlemen, we've got to go. Tell us if you want to get registered for this SBE Ennes Workshop at the NAB Show. What do you do? It
does include lunch. It is not part of the BEIT full pass. It's separate. So you don't. It's $289, which I think is very reasonable for an NAB workshop, 2 full days. It is Tuesday and Wednesday, and Wednesday is the day that the show floor closes at 2, but we run until 6.
Gotcha.
So don't leave until Thursday.
Don't schedule your flight home until Thursday, or really late Wednesday night. I'll be staying until
breakfast
Thursday.
And lunch is included in the price too, and try to buy food in Las Vegas. You can understand this is a bargain.
Yeah. And the registration's on the SBE website. Is that right?
SBE.org.
SBE.org. Okay.
You actually register through NAB through your NAB registration.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we'll put a link to that in the show notes so people can find that easily. And I think that link is linked from the SBE website.
Yes, it is.
Either way.
Okay. So we will get that on there. All right. David Bialik and Fred Willard, thank you so much. I know you guys have worked so hard to put this thing together. I know you worked hard to get me involved, and think of the other 20 plus presenters that are going on for those 2 days. So thank you for your hard work and making a really worthwhile program for 2 days for engineers to advance their careers at.
Yep. Thanks to the presenters. We really have some great people.
It's really exciting that when you go to ask someone to speak and tell them that we're doing technological presentations and not sales presentations, you never get a no. They always say, yes, I want to do this. Sometimes their bosses might say no, but the thing is, everybody's enthusiastic about it, and it's wonderful. Thank you.
Good deal. All right. Dave and Fred, thanks so much for joining us here on TWiRT, and we're going to be right back in just a moment. Our show is being brought to you in part by our friends at Broadcast Bionics, who make your broadcast better every single day. We'll check it out right now from Broadcast Bionics.
Caller One is the talk show system that anyone can use and everyone can afford. Live radio thrives on listener engagement, and phone calls play a crucial role by bringing real-time interaction, authenticity, and a true sense of community. But with the rising costs of traditional phone lines, broadcasters need to migrate to SIP. But this has been complex and expensive until now. Caller One makes your move to SIP easy, enabling you to save on line rental and improve call quality, while at the same time integrating seamlessly with your existing hardware and workflows. With Caller One's intuitive browser interface, you can answer, screen, and route calls to air from any device anywhere on the network, eliminating the need for expensive dedicated hardware. And it integrates seamlessly with the IP or analog console you already have. It's quick and easy to add notes and flags to callers. And with its built-in database, you can view call history and previous call notes all on one screen. As well as smooth call handling, Caller One records an isolated feed of the caller and presenter for every call, allowing rapid editing and repurposing of content for trails, podcasts, or social media. Flexible licensing allows you to choose 3, 6, or 12 lines, which can even be shared with a second studio. Make the switch to SIP with Caller One for a subscription that is less than the price of the daily coffee run. Get started today at bionics.co.uk/caller1.
What a great system for putting callers on the air. It's all VoIP, and it runs so easily, and it's got built-in call screenings. Check it out from Broadcast Bionics. Thanks a lot, Broadcast Bionics, for sponsoring This Week in Radio Tech. Hey, I'm Kirk Harnack. Glad to be with you. And in addition to talking with David Bialik and Fred Willard about the upcoming SBE Ennes Workshop, 2-day career blaster, I also got a chance to go to the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, which is going on right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Even today, I was there yesterday and caught up with a few people, and a real big appreciation for the folks at Broadcaster General Store. I got to stop by and talk to Matt Leland from Burk Technology, and remote controls and having everything in the dashboard, really important. Let's check out this quick talk with Matt Leland. We're at the NAB Show, the National Religious Broadcasters Show. Did I get that name right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Matt Leland is with me. He's with Burk Technology, and I've known Burk for years and years and years, and you guys keep improving and keeping up with the technology. What is hot at Burk these days?
Oh, our Burk Technology, the ARC Plus system, is it's really hot. It's kind of relevant. We keep updating it, as you indicated. We get a lot of questions like, a good question these days is, my transmitter has an interface I can log into and take a look at it.
Yeah.
Why do I need a Burk system? Well, with the Burk system, you can bring in your audio processor, you can monitor your generator, you can turn things on and off,
Right.
monitor everything that goes on at your station, all in one place. I had a customer a while ago, had 40 stations, and one of his engineers was spending his Friday afternoon every week logging into all the individual SMP or units that had an interface you can log into, just to see if everything's working properly.
Right.
So why don't we bring them all in the Burk system? It will automatically tell you if something's wrong.
Taking care, I'm part owner of 21 stations myself.
Right.
And we have Burk ARC Plus system at several of the sites.
Right.
And it's the whole concept of a dashboard is great. Because I can see all the transmitters or almost all the transmitters on one screen, switch to another screen, see the rest of them. And of course, we get notified with anything goes out of parameter. And I can't do that as easily with individual user interfaces. To have it all on a dashboard, that's a real blessing.
That's right. And another feature people don't realize is you can set up timers. You're a busy guy. You got all those stations. You might forget it's time to change, just the filter on the air handler.
Oh.
You could say every 6 months or 6 weeks, whatever your cycle is, send me a notification. It's time to do that maintenance feature. So you can set that up for all the different things that you might want to periodically check on, just as a reminder. And then it comes out like a normal alarm, and you clear the alarm when you're done, reset the timer, and it'll remind you next time around.
Now, you said timer. Is it a timer or is it a calendar, or either way?
It's essentially, we call it a timer because you set it up and you can define the time cycle it's going to trigger on and things like that.
Okay. All right. Like I might need the Burk to remind me that it's the general manager's birthday.
Right. You could do that.
Okay. All right, good deal. Now, to get into the Burk ecosystem, what can an engineer who hasn't used Burk, what can an engineer do to kind of get familiar with it?
We have 5 1-hour webinars recorded and on our website. You can review them on different aspects of the system at your leisure. If you have trouble sleeping at night, you can watch till you fall asleep and then pick it up in the morning.
We'll put that in the show notes. We'll put those 5 1-hour. Okay, yeah. So you'll know all about
that. You'll know all about it. What you don't pick up there, you can call our tech support. Tech support's free for the life of the product. So we've got a couple guys full time who are there to answer questions.
Good. Well, again, I'll reiterate. I love the fact that you can see everything all in one place and get notified about things that aren't right.
Absolutely.
All right. Matt, thank you much. Appreciate you very much. We're at the NRB, the National Religious Broadcasters, here in Nashville, Tennessee, at the Opryland Convention Center.
Thank you.
And you're watching This Week in Radio Tech. I'm Kirk Harnack. Our show is brought to you. We got another segment coming up with Byron Tyler. He's one of these content creators, program director sort of guys that really gets it in terms of engineering. I used to work with Byron for, oh my goodness, close to 10 years. And great relationship and good station building. Okay, our show is brought to you in part by Broadcasters General Store. And one of the products that they represent, one of the product lines is Broadcast Tools. Broadcast Tools. And one of the things that Broadcast Tools makes is something that we're finding more and more need for, and that is a multi-station relay for EAS. You know, there are some older ones out there. It's hard to find new ones, but the MSRP3 is the 3-station analog stereo EAS relay panel. Now, I've got several of the analog version of this. I want to say, I think they make an AES EBU version of this, but I've got the analog one. And in fact, on Maui, we've got 8 radio stations that we break into all at the same time whenever we do an EAS test or we have any EAS messages that need to go out. And so we have 3 of these in a 1RU rack, and that interrupt all of our stations all at once. And it just works great. We take audio out of our Sage NDEC unit, and we split that up. We feed it to each of these units, and they automatically inject that. There's a number of remote control deals that you can do with this. You can also have serial control of the MSRP3. It's a single balanced stereo switched audio input relay. In addition to the one that's built in the NDEC, this gives you 3 more. So you could do 4 stations with your NDEC and with this box from Broadcast Tools. And it uses standard Studio Hub style ins and outs. And that means wiring this thing into my system was super quick and easy. Now, you know, I'm using the Axia X nodes for audio out and then audio returning back into the Axia network there. So I hooked this up to interrupt all the stations literally with some Cat5 cables. I mean, just some Cat5 patch cords. Ended up making them, custom make them because they were short, because it was very close over to the X node. But this really works out great. A lot of stations need this, and you've got to fulfill your requirement to have EAS in the line and have it be able to operate automatically. So we're going to give you a link in the show show notes to check this thing out from Broadcast Tools, the MSRP3 3-station analog stereo EAS relay panel. And if you want to get one, you want to get two, or like me, you want to get three of them, you call our friends at Broadcasters General Store, BGS. The website is bgs.cc, bgs.cc, or you can call them at 352-622-7700. Hey, I just saw some folks from BGS yesterday at the NRB show. Talked to Dave Kirsten for a while. They run a great company there, and you ought to support them. If you're buying broadcast gear, please check out Broadcasters General Store. Let them give you a price and a delivery commitment, and I think you'll be very happy that you did. I've been buying from them for a long, long time. Check them out. Thanks a lot, Broadcasters General Store. All right, we got one more quick segment here. I got to talk and meet up with Byron Tyler of Bot Broadcasting, WCRV. Byron produces a couple of shows almost every week, if not every week. And here's a quick interview with Byron. We're at the NRB in Nashville, Tennessee, at the Opryland Hotel, Convention Center, and Big Expo Hall. I'm Kirk Harnack, along with Byron Tyler. Byron, great to see you.
Kirk, it's always good to see you.
Man, yeah, I've known you for almost 40 years.
It's been almost 40 years. It's hard to believe. We were just kind of passing each other. Usually we see each other here at the NRB.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's been quite a few years because you moved to Nashville area.
Right.
And I'm in Memphis, still in Memphis. And so we don't get to see each other too often, but it's always great to see Kirk Harnack.
Now, the company you work for is the Bot, B-O-T-T, Bot Radio Network.
Right.
And how many
Oh my goodness!
stations they have?
Right now, we're still growing. I think we're about 130, I guess.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Okay.
And
okay.
continue to put other stations.
So I was the engineer at WCRV in Memphis, Tennessee. The Bots upgraded it to a 50 kilowatt daytime non-directional station,
right,
and then about a little under a kilowatt at night.
Exactly.
Is it still similar to that?
It's the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Have they gotten any FM facilities in Memphis?
Actually, two. Yeah, we've got two FM, 100.7 FM and 93.7 FM.
Okay.
Right now.
And
translators.
And don't the Bots have something in Nashville as well?
We do. Yeah, we have several stations in Nashville.
Okay.
The Trevecca Nazarene College had like 4 or 5, I think, stations. Dixon, Nashville. There was an AM in the mix. And FM. So we have those stations now.
Wow. Very cool. So. You're not an engineer yourself.
No.
But you have to fiddle with the equipment.
I play one sometime at the radio station.
That's right. That's right. So as you're a content creator. You've had a show for many years, Mid-South Viewpoint.
Right. Yeah, Mid-South Viewpoint, as you know, when the Bott family first came to Memphis in 1986, Mid-South Viewpoint was a local program designed to get community involvement.
Right.
And so it's changed over the years. We used to have a different host, a volunteer host for the show. And now I do the show on Wednesdays and Thursdays at 3 o'clock.
Now, the production techniques have changed over time. Did you used to do the show live?
Yes, the show was live.
When I was the engineer, I think you were doing
the show was live. We took phone calls from guests. Yeah, we used to do that. That's all changed now.
We also had to time the show so it didn't occur when the freight train went by in front of the bank.
Yeah.
So, I remember that.
Yeah.
So now, what's your workflow now for doing this show, which, by the way, is well listened to?
Thank you. Yeah, Kirk, basically, I try to find guests. I'm always looking. Being at the NRB provides a great opportunity to do interviews here. So basically, I find somebody to do an interview, a topic, do the show. It's about a 30-minute interview. And then I get the audio, the raw audio, and record it into, mix it down to the format. 26 and a half minutes is the ultimate.
That's the goal.
Yeah, the start to top, thing. And so I start making, and I do it all myself. So I find a guest, edit the show, do all the social media posts for it, whether it be on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, get all the social media things for it too. And then now I've added the element of video.
Okay.
So I have a couple of older Panasonic AF100 cameras shooting 1080, which is fine for YouTube.
Sure.
And I have a lighting set up in my office. And so that's part of the interviews. Not every interview is video, but I'm starting to add that more and more.
Okay, so they air on, now after you're done with the show, you upload it into an automation system.
Yeah, upload it to a folder. We use Zeta as our control for the stations.
Yep.
And so Overland Park, Kansas is where the playout center is. So all the audio is played from there back to Memphis.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But then there's also, for some shows, there's a video
edition of the
Exactly,
show. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's basically posted on the YouTube channel and also on the bot website.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, listen, as an engineer working with you 38 years ago, it was an incredible pleasure because you kind of really understood the challenges that an engineer had, and you didn't make my job more difficult. I'll tell you
Well,
that.
I appreciate that. Well, I always love a quality engineer, and you definitely brought that to the table for the bot family. You know, it's really hard to find sometimes a broadcast engineer committed, you know, to the quality of radio today.
Yeah.
It's not an easy find, Kirk. I think you know that.
Wow. Byron,
Yeah.
listen, checks in the mail. I appreciate
Thank you so
it.
much. It better be a lot.
We'll be right back here on This Week in Radio Tech. All right. Great to see Byron Tyler and a lot of other friends at the NRB. All right. Well, here's our tip of the week. I'm going to give you a tip of the week. And, you know, in the news, in the broadcasting news over the past few weeks, there's been some hacking into some transmitters. And what the hacker does, I don't know, you know, just what's open in the firewall. Probably a port is open, and making it easy for an engineer, general manager, somebody to check on their transmitter, turn it on, turn it off, check on the readings and so forth. But apparently that also opened the user interface to people who could find it on the internet. And even though a station owner or an engineer might have established a new username and a new password for the transmitter, it apparently it might be the case that the factory username and password still existing in the user interface. So these hackers were able to get in there. What they would do, if you were using maybe an external RDS generator, they would get in the transmitter. They would switch the transmitter from the external RDS generator to a built-in internal one. They'd put some really bad language in there, and then they would change the password before they left. And so it ended up requiring a trip to the transmitter site to reset the password from the front panel and get in there and fix the problem. Really bad. And we've heard similar things going on with, for example, some codecs. It seems that a lot of times we refer to barracks codecs, not that they're more vulnerable, but you know, they tend to be installed a lot of times. It's not a broad brush, but a lot of times barracks are inexpensive, and they're installed by people who may not have an IT person or somebody who's concerned about security. And so they're left open. They open a port or put them in the DMZ of the router that's at the transmitter site. Really dangerous. And they're wide open for other people to inject audio into. So I looked at as many scenarios as I reasonably could, or at least the most common scenarios, I should say. And I wrote a paper, wrote a white paper and an executive summary on this topic with some ideas on how to better secure your equipment. And this is really important. Don't get hacked. Don't get hacked. It's so preventable. And I wrote, I'll provide links in the show notes for you on this show. So there'll be a link. You can just go get the white paper. Or if you need to give the executive summary version of that to your station owner, general manager, somebody who's going to say, yeah, let's get this fixed. What do we need to do? There's a short version of it for that is kind of written from a C-suite point of view. So I'll provide links in the show notes. Watch for that on our published version of This Week in Radio Tech, and you can download that paper. I've run it by a number of engineers and IT people, and everybody seems to think, yeah, Kirk, this is pretty spot on. Of course, there's VPNs is one solution, but VPNs can be a little complicated for people who are not well versed in them to set up. And there's different kinds of VPNs that you would want to implement the right kind. Otherwise, they're not going to do you any good. So there's other techniques like whitelisting, and I discussed that in this paper. And whitelisting can be very beneficial, be a good way to help stop this problem. Okay, so there you go. Watch for it in the show notes. Click on it, and you can get yourself a copy of that white paper. And that's it. Hey, next week, we've got a really cool show. We're going to introduce a brand new product on next week's show. And I have an emotional attachment to this product. It's great for the broadcast industry, great for radio. And I'm really excited about it. The inventor of it is going to be here, and the guy who builds them is going to be here too. So it's a combination of software and hardware. So we're going to have a couple of really expert guests on the show next week, and I hope that you'll join us for that edition of This Week in Radio Tech. Big thanks to Suncast. Suncast had a big job today because I threw some videos at him and said, here, let's make a show. And he did. So thanks very much to Suncast. We'll see you next week on This Week in Radio Tech. Bye-bye.